Right, so it's been a minute since we picked up the WCW save game, and that was simply because I was moving across the country and needed a few weeks to do so. But now that all that hauling is over with, we can get back to concentrating on this channel and the booking that goes on it. Yes, Lex Luger is still an asshole, and so are you if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button. We are on a mission for 100 subscribers by the end of the summer. You can drastically help that little plan out by hitting these buttons now. Don't be a Lex Luger. So now that all that is over with, let's get to the video. All right, well, welcome back to WCW 1992 here on Three Ropes Wrestling. And yes, we just got over the Clash of the Champions. We are going to go over that. We will also go over the email, and we will go to the Pro Wrestling News Desk before we book two lead-up shows into WCW Saturday Night, which will be its own episode. Now, we have got a lot going on here in World Championship Wrestling in 1992. First, the available articles, the news that we can go over. Yes, we have an injury for our guy, Rick Rude. Confirmed that he has been injured with a bruised tailbone while wrestling last night. Thought that he'll be looking at a week or to fully heal. We're probably going to keep him out 2 weeks just to make sure that he does fully heal. We are at a point where we need everybody, but we can spare Rick Rude if it means that we will avoid a longer nagging injury. We can't have Rick Rude out for 2 months, so we're going to put him out 2 weeks, 1 week longer than the expected time date. Give him some time with his family, do whatever, clear his head, whatever. Just don't wrestle, and we will be fine. The Undertaker is in the WWF, and at the Royal Rumble, he turned face. So we will go over that with the news as well. But our email has Lex Luger, asshole, leaving WCW. He did not get along with anybody on the roster, so it's probably better off that he is leaving WCW. And in kayfabe, in storyline, we will go over how he left WCW, but leaving no friends either in the back or in the storyline to be friends with him. Luger leaving for WWF, and he will sign a deal in real life to go and be with the WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation, which Vince McMahon thought was going to take off and didn't. Wow, shocking. Rick Rude, we went over. He was injured. We're going to leave him out 2 weeks. Ron Simmons will also be out a week or two. We're using these guys a lot. We're trying to push and try to get some momentum for our company, so we are using more of our top guys in regular shows, like B shows and things like that. So, and we have had a grueling schedule here in the last couple weeks, so we want to make sure that we are taking care of our roster. The Clash of the Champions buy rate is a .84. That means 423,634 people bought it. That is good news for us. The figures last night got that many viewers. Yes, we just went over that. Ron Simmons, yes, we just went over that. In World Championship Wrestling, our TV show got a 161 rating, 1.2 million viewers on Saturday night for World Championship Wrestling. And I'm not happy with how our television is laid out right now. We got into this, and there's 2 B shows and an A show. I would really like to maybe merge the 2 B shows and just have 2 A shows, or 2 good shows that we book. We have a lot of workers, and maybe we can start a development company. Maybe we can start something like that. But we do have some money with us as well. We have $1.7 million in performance cash at the end. And $16 million is what I'm trying to get at. $16 million in the bank. So we are going to be able to generate some money to make a smaller company, perhaps a development company, or just put some money into the WCW power plant. But we've got a lot of workers. Even in 1992, I know that it balloons quite a bit in 1998, but in 1992 even, we have got a lot of workers that we are paying that we might not necessarily be getting a good return of investment off of. and I am not ATM Eric. So Jim Ross is putting it together a little bit more conservatively and not trying to spend all this money, trying to make money. You see the monthly wage bill that we have is $607,000. An estimated sponsorship income of $285,000 gets that down anywhere from the $400,000 to the $300,000 range, without me doing math real quick. But then we have our pay-per-view, so we're going to be profiting every month, which is really important. But the problem is we don't really have anything to spend it on. Now, I want to save some money so that when a good wrestler becomes a free agent, no, I'm not looking at any right now, but we can see that there are some workers that might be available here in the next year. But if they become available, I want to be able to get into a price war with the WWF, though it's not optimal or it's not something that I'm aiming to do. If we have to go down that road, I don't want to completely be up a creek. I want to be able to at least kind of have a fighting chance, a puncher's chance at getting some top tier talent, because I think that's the only way that we're really going to surpass the WWF, especially if world domination is our goal here in the save game. We're going to have to move a little faster than we have been doing, and we're going to have to be a lot more aggressive. The problem is that takes a lot of money, and that takes some time. So we are trying to right now save the money, and then, I don't know, maybe mid-year we can start going after it. And by that I mean talent, I mean big shows, I mean traveling the world, and losing money to gain popularity points I think is okay. You just have to do it at a conservative level so that you're not going to lose the entire company. But that is my rant on that. Now, Clash of the Champions here. Elegante defeated George South in a pre-show match. Mr. Hughes defeated Van Hammer. Then we got into the TV show Welcome to the Clash of the Champions with the announcers at ringside. Sting comes down, cuts a promo on Luger saying, "I must get rid of Lex Luger from WCW." Brian Pillman defeats Tommy Rich. Steve Austin defeated the Z-Man to retain the WCW World Television title. Ron Simmons defeated Terrence Taylor. Cactus Jack defeated Big Josh. The Rhodes and Steamboat cut a promo on the Young Pistols leading into their match. They would beat the Young Pistols in a unification match to win the WCW United States Tag Team titles and to retain the WCW World Tag titles. We will likely merge that into the World Tag titles. So the United States Tag Team titles will be vacated, or just basically forgotten about and merged into the WCW World Tag Team. Rick Rude defeated Barry Windham to retain the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship, and Sting defeated Lex Luger to win the World Heavyweight title immediately after, as we found out in the news desk. Vader attacked Sting after the match, and Luger left Sting to fend for his own. We are now in a holding period now after the Clash of Champions, where as fans we're wondering what Sting's going to do. How is Sting? Is he okay? It looked pretty brutal the way that Big Van Vader just attacked Sting after our long grueling match with Lex Luger, so that's also something to consider. We're also wondering about Steamboat and Rhodes. They are new tag team champions, which is great. They are the only tag team champions in WCW, which is great because I want less titles, and because they're going to mean more. Angle, let me see. Cactus Jack remains strong, as did Ron Simmons. Steve Austin is just getting work right now. He defeated the Z-Man. It was a little mini feud, but it was really nothing that nobody really thought that the Z-Man, I don't think, was going to take the title from Steve Austin. So we're just positioning Steve Austin in a way where he can just continue to be successful. He has the World Television title, which is good. He might need to bump up soon, but right now has the World Television title, so we will keep him with that. Brian Pillman remaining strong as well. So, and in the pre-show, Van Hammer and Mr. Hughes, that's just getting them guys work, and Elegante and George South. I would really like to at least try for maybe in a year Elegante to have a big time match, albeit though his involvement being limited, but him in a match because he's just so big. I don't want it to be a Giant Gonzalez Undertaker match, however it probably will be, but at the end of the day it will be utilizing him and getting something out of him before we just release him, because obviously he's not built for the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. So he's going to have to go at some point, but we'd like to keep developing him on the undercard. That way we can keep developing him as a monster and letting him make his mistakes in front of few fans instead of a few 100,000 fans. So that's kind of where we are with him. So we are going to book Main Event and Power Hour, and then WCW Saturday Night will be their own thing. But with Main Event and Power Hour, I like to book in a way where we're just kind of positioning people, wrestlers, in spots where we want them. Obviously, we don't want them to lose if we have big plans for them, but things like that. In this one, though, we might get a couple things going on because we're right at a lull period where we have had Steve Austin and the Z-Man. That is resolved. The storylines are kind of resolved here. So we need to get them back in. Rick Rude and Barry Windham, you see, very hot right now. Steamboat and the Steiner brothers, we need to start. That's the one we're going to have to start. That's going to start at some point. Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, we're going to start as well. That is something that we want to start. And Sting and Vader. So these are the things on the cusp. We're going to have to get them going. I don't know if the B show is the right place to get them going, but we will get them going here either this episode or next episode. I'll see what we can do, and either way we're going to be positioning people in ways where we can have them both with momentum going into a strong feud. But I am going to book tomorrow night's WCW Power Hour. The next event we have is Super Brawl 2 in 40 days, so we've got some time to develop some strong storylines going into Super Brawl, and hopefully we will get more buys because we will have more solid feuds. And I mean, I might go even crazy and just try to get a couple of the undercard matches that we're going to throw together, have them have a little beef as well. That way we have something going in to Super Brawl. The next TV show is tomorrow night, and then I will book the other one as well. Let me book those, and then we will go over those in a minute. All right, here we are in the booking stage of WCW Power Hour. We're going to give the night off to nobody because I'm not going to deal with that today. The last time I did this, we needed a couple other people. I didn't look at who's available. I know that we're not going to use a couple of these people, so they don't have to be here. We could save a little bit of money, I suppose, but we're just going to bring everybody tonight. Select the town or the night. We are going to pick the best option. Due to lack of, there will be a generic venue for this one in Power Hour. The locker room incidences. Steve Armstrong got everyone in a good mood when he set up a pancake station. Delicious. Started cooking for anyone who wanted them. So Steve Armstrong, true cowboy, setting up posts and cooking for the whole gang. Todd Champion and the Italian Stallion apparently butted heads backstage. They're both furious with one another. Yeah, Todd Champion is a part of the Jobber Tag Team on the WCW Patriots, and the Italian Stallion is here because George South is here, and we like George South, but the Italian Stallion doesn't really bring a lot to the table. He's an absolute jobber. I don't dislike him. He just is a really big jobber. There's no redeeming qualities for him as far as like pushing him or anything, so he is on thin ice. George South, speaking of the devil, our head men's trainer, pre-show drills with Elegante, Johnny B. Bad, and Van Hammer. That must have been an absolute circus. Did not mean to click George South's profile, but there we go. The locker room incidents have been completed, and now we are not... Without Lex Luger here, I have not been selecting team bonding because of Lex Luger, but without Lex Luger here, we can try and see if this goes well. Let's test it. Strengthened relationships. Arn Anderson strengthened his relationship with Dusty Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat. The Dusty Rhodes and Rick Rude and Harley Race and Sting and Harley Race. All of those relationships have worsened. That's not good. especially the Sting and Harley Race thing. I don't like that. Harley Race, is he the new jerk? I know Rick Rude is hurt, so it makes sense. He should actually be home right now, so that's probably something that is making him angry, but we will continue, and we are going to continue here and book a couple of the matches. So I'm going to pause this. I will come back and we will have WCW Power Hour. All right, in WCW Power Hour, in front of 2,100 fans here in the Southeast in Georgia, and we start off a video package featuring Big Van Vader and Sting, just showing fans that didn't watch the Clash of the Champions what happened at the end of the night. The commentary lifted the quality of the segment, and the angle got the crowd hotter. That's exactly what we're looking for. 59 on the rating, and a hot and rising is pretty good on WCW Power Hour. That leads us into our first match, decent match, but Marcus Alexander Bagwell obviously getting the win over Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker in just under 11 minutes. And yeah, Marcus Alexander Bagwell 39 and Buddy Lee Parker a 42, which I'm really shocked at. I thought that Bagwell would have been a little bit better than Parker, but Bagwell's still young, so we're going to see if he can get over all of that. Just reps, you know. In wrestling, it's reps, and we're giving him reps before we start giving him something more, which might be in 93, maybe at the end of this year, who knows. But Bagwell is just going to keep winning matches and improving. So the segment rating is a 41. It did simmer down the crowd, which is not great, but we'll take it. Moving on, Paul E. Dangerously and Steve Austin are with Jim Ross, and they just basically say Paul Dangerously is basically telling everybody that Austin's ready for everybody, trying to get his guy a bigger match. He is still willing to defend, obviously, the WCW Television Championship, and he needs to defend the title, but at the same time, you're giving Austin some time out there with the microphone, which is never a bad idea, and he worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise his advantages. Paulie Dangerously did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd, and the angle, most importantly, got the crowd hotter and got Steve Austin over. The segment rating is 77, and I put Jim Ross in there because there's just instant chemistry between all three of these guys, so I knew it would probably be a decent rating. Moving on, the Steiner brothers are going to defeat Thomas Rich and Ricky Morton. And yes, the York Foundation is not well. Alexandra York did a good job outside in the ringside area being a manager, but her guys are not getting over. She looked very frustrated at the end of this, as if she expected them to beat the Steiner brothers, but the Steiner brothers did hand the York Foundation another loss in 10 minutes and 36 seconds. Crowd ends up being hot at the end of it. It's a wrestling rating of 55 and a crowd rating of 45. It will give us a 57, which is exactly where I think they really kind of are. The Steiner brothers showed excellent chemistry together. Tag team specialist bonus. Morton and Rich got a tag team specialist bonus as well, so that's something to keep on the lookout if we want to keep them together as a team going forward. Usually they're more independent, individual guys with York, but she put them together tonight and still couldn't win and looked very frustrated at the result. Moving on, Dustin Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat just cut a basic promo talking about winning and unifying the WCW Tag Team Championship. So Rhodes and Steamboat looking good. An unorthodox team, but I gotta say a team that is really, really improving. And as I said before in the last segment, we're looking at the Steiner brothers for Super Brawl. So we are going to have to keep them pretty hot, both teams, in order to have a really good match, which has a very good chance at being a very good match on paper. And moving on, Steve Austin's going to defeat the Great Muta. He is going to defend the WCW World Television title. And the Great Muta is going to be leaving here in 11 days, so we're going to have him looking at lights and getting our guys over so that we can get our guys over. I mean, a win over the Great Muta, that's a pretty good one, and Steve Austin's going to pick that up. Both guys getting an in-ring performance of 64, and Paulie Dangerously obviously doing some good work on the ringside area as the manager. Austin and Dangerously are a good pairing. They play off each other well. That was shown with Jim Ross earlier in this show with the interview. So 75 is the final grade there on the main event. That will give us a 70 overall rating. We're just getting guys some reps. We're just getting guys some time on the microphone and in the ring. So we are pretty good here. 2,100 people are going to leave happy here for WCW Power Hour. And we are going to look at the financial report. We overall profited $19,334. That's a good day. That's a good day. So the post-show finances are 16.7. That's also a good year and a good bank account. We're going to be able, as I said earlier in this video, to invest a little bit, but we'll see when that time comes. That is the end of that show. Now we are going to book the next show. It's another B show, but we will book that one here on this one. That way we can kind of do all the housework here on this episode, and then the next one get into WCW Saturday Night, where I think we'll start getting things booked a little bit better in terms of where we're going with the storyline. Right now, these two shows, we are literally just trying to position people well and make sure that everything is good. So I'm going to simulate till tomorrow night, and then I'll pick it up after I get everything booked. All right, now we are here for WCW main event, and I'm going to be honest and transparent right from the beginning. I did use the auto booker, not for the whole event, but I did use the auto booker just to see what guys, because I like to get into a pattern where I use the same guys all the time. So I like to use the auto booker, so I'll use different people on the B shows only, and not every B show, probably one in every 5 or 6. That way I can break the pattern. Anyway, that is going to be kind of this one. The Young Pistols are going to get the win in a dark match over Bill Kazmaier and Arachnaman. Don't really like Arachnaman all that much. I think that's just a corny thing, kind of like Glacier, where they're trying to rip off an already trademarked property, which never works. And Bill Kazmaier, nothing against him. He's just kind of a run-of-the-mill person in our job squad. So the Young Pistols lost at Clash of the Champions to Ricky Steamboat and Dustin Rhodes. So we're going to give them a win and try to give them a little bit more momentum going forward with our tag team division. That way we have a little bit more reputable tag teams in our division. More on that in the next couple episodes, where I'm going to try to get a little bit more jump into the tag team titles here and tag team division here in WCW. But moving on, the Young Pistols are going to get the victory. Now, the Diamond Mine, Diamond Dallas Page, and Vinny Vegas are going to get a win over Marcus Bagwell and El Gante. We've got El Gante taking the loss in this one because we don't want Marcus Alexander to take a pin, but we also don't want the Diamond Mine to lose a match. And even though it is a dark show on a B show, we still don't want them to lose momentum. At least I don't. It's a 47. Gante seemed off his game. He did. It was a 26. Everybody else up into the 40s, so we're not going to complain too much about that. The segment rating gets a 47. Now, moving on, Missy Hyatt, it's just going to be hawking t-shirts for WCW. She's just, hey, call Missy's hotline and get the t-shirt from WCW and all that stuff. So 54 with the segment. We're just getting a pretty face on television, so why not? Missy Hyatt doing a 4-minute promo for WCW. Now we're getting a loud, boisterous, and mouthy person on our TV. Paul Dangerously clearly enjoying the freedom of going off script. Everyone in WCW holding on for dear life to see what he's going to say next. But basically, Dangerously just cuts us a self-promo for his Dangerous Alliance, talking about Steve Austin, Rick Rude, talking about everybody in the Dangerous Alliance and how they are just going to come out so successful in 1992. So he's kind of painting a picture in terms of where he'd like his organization or his group, his alliance, his stable to be at the end of the year. So Dangerously just being loud. Now the Great Muta and versus Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Eaton's gonna get the win again. The Muta is out in a couple days. I think he's got one more match here in WCW, so we are going to use that to our full advantage and not make his home promotion New Japan mad, but we are going to get our guys over because that is what we want to do. We're going to end the New Japan working relationship. I just don't see how it benefits us at all. So the Great Muta, they can be angry if they'd like, but the Great Muta is contractually obligated to have one more show here, and Beautiful Bobby Eaton's going to win with the Alabama Jam. Just get Eaton some momentum and get him a good win here in front of WCW fans. Michael Hayes and Scott Steiner in a decent match. Got a 56. Scott Steiner, we are leaving strong. The Fabulous Freebirds are a good tag team, but they're a tag team I think that is more historical than they are future here in WCW. So we're going to give Scott Steiner a win, especially going into Super Brawl, where we're going to learn they are going to challenge for the titles. We haven't said that publicly yet, but that is where we are headed. Harley Race is going to be on TV. He's just going to cut a promo for Vader talking about Sting in a way where he's disrespecting the WCW Heavyweight Champion, says Vader will easily beat Sting. The match has not been announced or signed yet officially, but it looks like it's headed that way. Harley Race doing everything he can to position his guy for a WCW Heavyweight Championship opportunity. So then we go on to Big Van Vader and the Junkyard Dog, and Vader destroys the Junkyard Dog. I mean, I think this might be putting the dog out behind the shed, because this is over. Vader annihilates the Junkyard Dog, and I think this is kind of like a passing of the torch sort of thing, where we needed JYD because we didn't have a reputable person in to have a main event on main event, but Vader destroyed any idea that he's a reputable person anymore in 1992. JYD passing the torch over to Vader, and I don't know if we're going to keep JYD or not. It seems like we're probably not going to, only because of the money and finances. We can put that somewhere else. We're trying to become bigger in the world, so JYD not a part of those plans, sadly. The segment rating is a 62. It leaves the crowd very hot. Vader gets a 72, JYD with a 40. And oh yes, Larry Zbyszko and the Z-Man also on the show. They got a 63. The Z-Man defeating Larry Zbyszko, probably an upset there, but he just lost to Steve Austin, and we have a little bit of plans for Z-Man. Nothing crazy, but something of mid-card status. But still, we want to get him a win. Again, more history for Larry, more future for the Z-Man. That's going to be the final of WCW main event. And yes, we have got a decent show, 65, 5 less than the other show we booked, which was a 70. So that will be okay. Now, taking a look at the finances, this show we will overall profit $13,690. So that's not bad for 2 shows, close to $30,000. We'll take that. That's pretty good. $16,000. We're happy with everything. We don't need a popularity recap, and we don't need a media scrum because there is nothing. But guys, that is going to be this episode of WCW. Sorry that it took so long, but we are back on schedule. Have one every couple of days here, and we will start booking World Championship Wrestling again like we did before. Also, on Sundays, not this Sunday, but starting next Sunday, we will have 3 Ropes Wrestling every Sunday here on 3 Ropes. So that is something to look forward to as well. Guys, thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate you watching the videos, hitting the like button, and subscribing. I really do appreciate all of that. And until the next one, I'll talk to you then.